Hello, welcome back, Box1 here, and today we are going to be reviewing this set. This is the, I think it's 2015 or 2016, Lego Star Wars Millennium Falcon from The Force Awakens. It has, what is this, 6 figures and 1 droid, and is a pretty cool set from that year. So let's get into the figures first. The first figure up is BB-8, and he's just a simple 2-piece droid, and as you can see, and it is a pretty common figure from these sets. I think he comes in quite a few. I know he does because I have quite a few sets with him in it. And yeah, he's pretty simple. But he's a pretty nice little droid. Next up, we have Finn. I think it's FN2187 or something like that. And he's a pretty cool guy here. He has that jacket on, and he doesn't have any prints on his legs, which is kind of interesting, but he does use that hairpiece like that, and he has no obverse face as well, so that's kind of interesting. He's a bit less detailed, but he does carry that long blaster, or not long blaster, but normal blaster. Next up, we have Rey, and she is in that simple sand blue robes, and she has the actual, like, metallic silver blaster. I don't know the actual color. I think it may be metallic silver or pearl silver, whatever. But that's kind of cool. I do like that color. And she has, I think, a double-sided face. Yes. She has a slightly more stern look and a more happy look. So, pretty good figure, I'd say. I do actually like this figure. I think it accomplishes the look of Rey pretty well. Next up, we have the Chewbacca from, obviously, partnered with Han Solo, and he's in the dark brown color instead of the older reddish brown or brown, but he has a actual stud shooter crossbow, which you just load the stud in the front, press down on this, and launch it, and it actually does fire quite far. And yeah, he's a good figure. He has this custom mold for him, if I can take that off. And there, you can kind of see how it's built with that custom mold that goes right on top of the head here. And it's just on a normal blank torso in dark brown. Pretty good figure. Finally, for the good guys in the set, we have Han Solo, the old Han Solo. And he has printed legs, of course, and then the vest jacket, as well as the white undershirt. And then he has a simple pistol that he always uses. See some back printing on him. And he's just a pretty good figure. He has, I think, double-sided face. Yes, he has that more stern look again, and that more happy look there. I'd say this is probably my favorite figure of the set. Moving on to the bad guys of the set, we have one of Unkar's thugs, and he has one of these pirates' pistols here as his weapon, and I don't know if he has a obverse face. He does, more angry look, and he uses what is it? I think it's the Qui-Gon Jinn hair. I may be mistaken, but I think it is. And yeah, he has some nice printing, and he's actually a pretty good minifigure. And we have another one of Unkar's thugs. He uses the long pirate's gun, and he has actually some quite nice printing. I actually quite like his printing with that nice swirl pattern on it. And he just, he's pretty cool. He has some more back printing, which also looks pretty good. And I forget if he has a two-sided head. He does not. He has just one side. And he also has an eye patch, which is kind of interesting, as well as his head wrap instead of hair. And he's just a pretty nice little figure, actually. I quite like him. Moving on from the figures, if it'll not be blurry, which are pretty good, we can get on to the actual ship, which is really good. Let's get into the ship, I guess starting from the front, as usual. We have these two triangular pieces that are just attached using some pins right there. And yeah, they just fit in there, and that nice angled right up against the ship, so it looks quite good. They have some quite nice detailing on the sides and stuff like that. And then they do have the spring-loaded shooters on either side, and you actually access them by going through this little hole, and it launches out either one, which is pretty cool. Now, it does have this little area over here, which you can actually get into the ship using, where you can try. There's a little, like a wall in the way there, but it gives the illusion of having that little ramp area where you get into the ship from the front. And it uses this big this big plate here on some Technic pieces. As you can see, there's a little Technic mechanism in there. It's pretty simple. It's really just a one of these pole with the pinholes in it, and that just can move it back and forth on these rails, which actually stop it, which is kind of interesting. Moving up here, you can actually see that this entire thing is made of these segments, which can actually lift open. I'll actually show you what's on each of them. You can see there's that radar dish, the weird square one. Moving along, we do have some nice stickered pieces on it on the top, and we can go along here to the back, which also has some stickered pieces on the very back of it. Moving on, we have a stickered piece on this side, and then we have the area going in to the actual cockpit here, also using 4 stickered pieces. A lot of stickers in this set. The windshield is not a sticker, that's a print, obviously. And then that's where we'll actually go before we look at the inside of the ship. And that can easily just open up by pulling it off. As you can see, it's on some jumpers and then normal clips right there. There is a control panel, which I will show you. I think it is also a sticker, and it does look pretty good though. I do like the control panel. And this area can sit, I think, 2 figures in it. Maybe 1. I don't remember. Yeah, 2. And you can actually, as I said, fit 2 figures in there. It's really hard to fit this guy, Chewbacca, in, because he is that larger head mold. As you can see, it's quite a bit taller than the normal figures, so it's quite hard to fit him in there. But you can fit Han Solo and Rey and the other figures quite fine. But you can move on from the cockpit and actually see this, which this ship actually opens up using these panels, which are all on hinges, separate hinges here. And yeah, it's a pretty simple mechanism. It's just hinges holding these panels up, but they do all open, and there are quite a bit of panels here. As you can see, it looks like a, I don't know what it looks like, but it can open up like that, and you can see it has a quite nice interior in here. And before I show you the interior, I do want to show you it does have this little area here, which also can open up and reveal this little seat, which can hold 2 gunners. And here we go, we have this simple gunner seat with this little roof piece in the middle. You can grab that, put it in between these 2 little clips here, and that can sit there. And now you have 2 gunners, one for the top gun, and then there's also a bottom gun, which I will show later on in the video, because I don't want to have to close and reopen these panels. But yeah, on the inside, it's actually quite nice in here. There is a stickered piece right there for a control panel, as you can see. And then there is a chair, which can spin around quite a bit. And you can actually put 1 figure in there. I'll just take one of the figures from the cockpit. And there you go. There's Rey with the computer. You can actually put that up a bit more. And she can also still spin around. Not as much, but she can still kind of spin. Over here we have this table with the hollow table there, where they play the game with the monsters. And there are some printed or stickered pieces here. I don't know if they're printed or stickered. They're stickered, okay. I can see them. Some stickered pieces, quite a bit of stickered pieces. I think that is, around 8 stickered pieces there. That table is not, but the back pieces are. And there's a little control panel there to start the game. You could fit 2 figures in there, and I will use these guys, I guess. And it doesn't quite make sense for them to be in the ship, but they can play that hollow table, I guess. There's another stickered piece right here that's a bit harder to see when these panels are closed, but that's kind of interesting. I forgot to show that earlier. And there's also these, which are just, I think, escape pods on either side. So, kind of interesting there as well. I think you can get in them, maybe? Yeah, you can get in them, but there is no door to close them, so if you do get in them, you're just basically stuck in there. But there's this little area back here, which is kind of like, I always thought of it as like a medical bay where they'd sit if they're injured. And it can sit 2 figures. I'm just going to sit the one, and just put him in this little table guy right here. And you can just sit like that, I guess. But he can sit on those studs and lay down as well. And as you saw, I tried to do it on video, but there you can go. There you can see what it would look like with the figure laying down. It also has this one little clip here, which you can just store, I don't know, like a blaster. So you can like store Chewie's blaster right here. And that can just sit there. Also, there's this other area in the back that uses some more stickers. There's a lot of stickers in this set, that's one thing I will say. Not much printed pieces. But you can see there's those stickered pieces on those weird little like lavender pieces, and then that gray tile as well. And that is just a little area here, like the back engine or hyperdrive, which makes sense. I'll show you the actual back in a second. It has some cool stuff. And then there's just some more rubbish over here. Pretty cool. This doesn't hold anything, but it's just there. Also, there's these little floor panels. This one, which can just go down, is just a little ramp up, which I'll kind of show you on this side if I can. It's just a little ramp up into the ship, as you can see. Make more sense on flatter ground, but it's just a little ramp into the ship. And then this one actually makes sense in the show, because this is where Ray and Finn hide, in that little like underground vent, or not underground, but underside vent. And if I don't rip off the chair, I can put Ray in there. And though it can only fit one figure, it does look quite good, as you can see. Pretty nice. Okay, moving on, we can get into the actual back of the ship, closing up these things here, because that was basically the interior. We can get into the sides and back of the ship here. If I just show you how this all closes up. They do get a little stuck on each other sometimes, but they are pretty easily fixed if they don't fall off their hinges, which does happen a bit because they are a bit heavy and the hinges are a bit small. There we go, all closed up. Pretty fast, pretty simple. But we can move on to the edges here, and you can see there are some cool little piece usages, like these telephone pieces on the sides. Yes, these are basically the exact same. For this side, it's different a little, and then for this side, it's also a little different. But for these two, the backs are basically pretty much the same. But they do have, and they are a bit repetitive, is what I was going to say. So, that's one thing. But you can move it up here, and you can see more cool little details here. And over here on the very back, you can see there's this large tube here. And they use these type of tubes in many colors for many different things. I know they use them in the Death Star, actually, or I think so. And then some Bionicle stuff as well. 2016 Spider Droid. But this one is in blue, and it is quite large. And that represents the back engine of the ship, which looks quite nice, actually, in this. But you can move on again and see that there is another use of that dark bluish gray telephone. And that's basically it for the panels here. And that is basically it for the ship as well. I don't think... Oh yeah, forgot to show you the underside. That's what I wanted to show you as well. It has this little underside with the other gun, as I said. And it has 4 landing gear, as you can see, using this Technic stuff. And this is where the actual little pod would be, where Ray is actually sitting. I don't know if I can get that out, but you can usually... pop it out, but I guess with a figure in there you really can't, which is kind of cool. And then that's where the door is to get in, and that uses well, I thought this would actually be part of the door. That fell off and now is trapped in there, but that goes on the end of the door to make it so it sticks there, but that seemed to be sticking to there instead. Kind of odd. And you can see what that would look like if you just put that there. This is the other gun on the bottom. It doesn't have any sticker details, and it doesn't open up like the top one. But it is just the same design, which I'll actually show a bit more detail of. It can go up and down, it can move all around, and it just looks pretty good for the design of the guns in the actual show. that's basically it for the underside, as well as the actual ship. So let's get into my opinion on it. And my opinion on this set is pretty simple. I think it's a pretty good Millennium Falcon set. It's the only Millennium Falcon I have, and at the time it was really, really good, and I think it still is. I think it captures the look of the Force Awakens Millennium Falcon quite well with how damaged it was. It does have a lot of panel gaps. I will say that. It does have a lot of panel gaps here. But I think overall it looks good. It has great play features. Has great figures, I think. And I just say it's an overall pretty cool set. I'm going to quickly, at the end of this, just show you some other sets at the time that I showed off earlier. I showed off these four. I don't have these, but I wanted that one. That one's cool. And that is basically it. You can see some play features here that I talked about. And yeah, it's just a pretty simple, well, not simple, it's a pretty cool big set that they had at the time. It had a bunch of pieces, I remember that. But I do hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time where I don't know what I'm going to do, but probably a mock. So I do hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you then. Goodbye.